but to have them both happening simultaneously is the moment in which we become masters of time and space. Now this actually happens in several other aspects of our life, one of which is actually walking through the natural world, finding yourself on a bushwalk, finding yourself on a mountain range, being eclipsed by vast landscapes where you are but just a small drop in the grand scheme of things. Then in those moments you tend to experience what we call the zone. Now I bring this up because Lyne has done something which is very difficult to do. She hasn't only experienced it and communicated it through her art, but only about 20 minutes ago she managed to take me to that zone with this painting just down the back here. A few months ago I was on a week-long holiday in Brodie Island, which happens to be where we both grew up. Now,
the connection.
We had, it was a holiday of nostalgia for me, ice creams on the waterfront, seeing my old school and going along the bushwalks that I love, hiking around Mount Tibrogargan, not too far off on the horizon. Now it was springtime, flowers are out, but around Mount Tibrogargan you have an awful lot of gum trees. The leaves are falling and they have this beautiful crunch underneath your feet as you walk. And I'm looking at this artwork for just the briefest of moments, which for me felt like an eternity. I was taken back to that moment and I found myself sitting just beside the mountain with the leaves underneath my feet. And that's the power of Lyne's artwork. Now she's taken me to that beautiful moment in time and space. I'd like to leave you all with a challenge today is find the artwork in here which makes you the master of your time and space. Find that beautiful memory that it takes you to, because that is a beautiful treasure. And we can certainly thank Lyne for taking us there today. Now, I'd like to thank you for listening to my waffle, and I certainly hope that it's helped to provide just a small content and different context to view this exhibition. But I have great pleasure in declaring this exhibition open for the public enjoyment, and I certainly hope that you will join me in a round of applause for our beautiful artist and what she's created. Our briefest of remarks, I'll now introduce Lyne to you all to provide a bit more illuminating topics on the exhibition that we're blessed to experience today.
Thank you, Brodie. I don't think I need to. Not at all. But thank you, Mark, for the welcome, and to Brodie, and to the lovely ladies, Tess and Michelle, who I've worked with. Because when I have always felt welcomed in this gallery, and no matter how my work is changing, it's always been accepted. So the name, the natural connection, of course, I think Brodie spelled it out in so many ways. There's a synchronicity in what we do, and with art, it's a synchronicity. There's always things going on, and you're thinking, wow. So my connection, the reason I call it is my connection with that spirit and nature, and landscape. But it's also my connection with Toowoomba, which goes back to 1992, and I did a visual arts degree, and then later I studied further education. And the gallery here has allowed me to maintain that connection to Toowoomba, because I've now gone back to live close to where I grew up, which is, I think that's about finding your roots. So there's other things that happened in Toowoomba. I did a workshop with an artist from British Columbia, and 9 years later we went on this amazing journey to where he lived. But he opened my heart up to what Brodie was saying, that it's the art is you need to know who you are, and there's a purpose for why we do this. That as an artist, we have a purpose for why we create. It can be a personal purpose, but it's what pushes us to those levels. And so I was on a journey to discover that connection, to get those layers into my work. And then several years later, when I was exhibiting in Shanghai, I stood in front of an artwork from an artist who I found out later, and actually went to his studio, that he was very well known, very acclaimed. But I had an encounter with that artwork that I couldn't explain then. It was, I fell into the work, and actually I still very vividly remember swimming around inside that work and coming out and thinking, oh dear, I think I've got a problem. And But I realised later through more research that it was a confirmation for me that I was on the right journey for what was for me, and I love that sense of that connection with Asian art, where they have the space and a notan and that takes you into those layers. So I'm still on that walk, and I travelled a lot around Australia, and what I do is I'm fortunate that my husband has the same philosophy, that we just can spend hours and hours and hours in one place, in that connection with nature that is so special. It can be simply the patterns and the movement in water, or colour, or the mark making, or there's so many experiences where we didn't move on. Everyone else, well, we've often been in quite isolated places, but I have wanted to capture that and then take it back to my studio and recreate it in my work without physically taking you to that place that I was in, but more about that emotion and feeling. So that's the road I'm on, and I'm still on that road, and I'll be on that road for some time. And so here are the work is, and I'm hoping that I'll also to write about all these journeys in my books, which is why they're here in the gallery. I like to have them with my work because they tell a bigger picture than I can. So the work is here for you to view. It is all, you'll find them in, they sort of come out in series, and they're all very different, and yet there is a thread that connects all my work, and it's that purpose, that desire to take what I'm working and doing with and take the viewer on that journey. So they actually, like Brodie said, are sitting at the foot of a mountain, or walking, or crunching the leaves, and getting that sense of really being there. So my brain is filled up with all those memories. So I think that's enough for now. So welcome, thank you, and enjoy the exhibition, and thank you everybody for coming.
I'll drag Tess up here so she doesn't get out of it either.
Oh, why?
So we've just got a couple of interviews here. Thank you very much, Brodie.
Thanks, Brodie. Just such an honour. Thank you. I'm sure you painted a beautiful picture for all of us to try and get into that state so that we can all feel that wonderful emotion. So, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all as well.
Thank you. It's lovely.
And as you know, every is open to the 2nd of March, so feel free to pop back or tell your friends or share it on Facebook, because as you can really appreciate, Lynn has put her heart and soul into this exhibition, and we really would love everybody who is in Toowoomba or visiting to be able to get here to see the space. And thanks again, Michelle, for curating this. You've done a beautiful job.
Well done.
Would love to make a purchase. Of course, they're all for sale. Just grab one of the Further Lawry staff, Michelle, myself, Mike. We're happy to help you. Thank you.